So while I'm waiting for the Marvel Tokon to come out in August, I've decided to try to broaden my horizons, I guess, in terms of fighting games. My main fighting game is usually BlazBlue, Guilty Gear, because I just like that fast-paced pressure and combo-oriented gameplay where you can do crazy combos. And I decided, you know what, I'm gonna try some other fighting games, and maybe even play, well, not really play, but I guess learn different kinds of characters that do different things, such as charge characters. And I'm going to try to make a subsequent amount of videos about maybe specific characters, specific archetypes of a character, and I figured I'd get started and talk about, I think, an interesting one, is Nash from Alpha 3. Now, before we get started on this video, I want to leave a disclaimer that I am no expert when it comes to Street Fighter. I am a very unorthodox player when it comes to fighting games, so the whole footsies, not jumping around all that much, more, I guess, reading and more methodical playstyle is just not for me. And that's why I think making a video about charge characters, you know, an archetype that is repellent to me, because I prefer to play hard rushdown, would be interesting. So I'm just going to get this out of the way real fast. Nash only has two special moves, Sonic Boom and Somersault Kick. The unique thing about Nash in this game is to make him more distinct from Guile and to have a more aggressive playstyle compared to Guile, is that he actually has a regular tap dash, which modern fighting games from this point on will include to have in all the other Street Fighters. And even from that dash, he's able to perform a kick. From my understanding, Alpha 3, at least to my understanding for Nash at the very least, is not a very combo-heavy game for him, I think. You can usually just do about 4 to 5 hits and get a knockdown. Well, that is if you can. The linking on the attacks is pretty strict, so it's pretty hard to actually get a combo from a jump in. Since Nash is a charge character, most of his normals accommodate him for the lack of being able to access your specials right away. This goes for his standing heavy kick, which, if you hold him left or right, will move him slightly forward, allowing you to keep getting closer while continuing to hold your charge. From my understanding, I think how Nash is supposed to be played is a more aggressive version of Guile. Guile would probably prefer the enemy to be mid to long range, while Nash prefers them to be at mid to close range. Most of his buttons and specials seem to accommodate him with that, considering that Sonic Boom and most of his light and medium jabs crouch plus on block, so that'll allow him to play a more strike-throw game where he can just go on for grabs. An interesting quirk, I think, with Alpha is the activation of block seems to go pretty far. So I think you can probably do the similar thing that you can do in Street Fighter 2, is where you just throw out moves to stop them from getting away so you can go on for a grab. Comboing into Nash's super, at least for me, has been too difficult to do, since you need to hold back down and then go do a sort of pretzel input, and doing that with the very tight, like, I guess cancel window for his normals makes it really hard, but even just throwing it out as like a DP counter is pretty devastating. From feeling this character out, I think Nash definitely wants to be more on the aggressive side rather than Guile, who wants to be more on the defensive. With Nash, you want to play a more... you do want to control the space, but you also do want to get into their face for a grab or a good pressure. And I think that's a very interesting way to handle a charge character, because not all the ways does a charge character have to be a defensive zoner of some sort. Because, you know, that's the interesting thing. Just because they have charge abilities doesn't mean they always have to be on the defensive. You can use them aggressively. Overall, I think Nash as a charge character I thought would be a pretty good example to use as a first parter of this sort of video series, and using Street Fighter rather than like BlazBlue or something more complicated would probably be easier for people to digest that sort of information. But thank you so much for spending the time to watch this video. I really appreciate it and hope to see you in the next one.